Please.
Why are progressives so allergic to 9/11 and other conspiracy truth?
Progressives as meaning who?
I'm thinking of all the good progressive blogs. They're absolutely, they ban the subject. They're allergic to it. Every liberal, well-educated progressive I know is totally allergic to this.
I can venture a guess, and it may have a little to do with what I spoke of, but I think it also has to do with what Paul was speaking of. And I think that part of it is when someone is invested in a particular viewpoint, particularly political one, anything ideological, whether it's political or religious or whatever, and even not necessarily to the degree of fanaticism, it becomes very, very difficult to modify that to the degree that you don't think you're, let's say, losing face. And I think that both sides, I think on the progressive side and on the conservative side, those who would otherwise perhaps have a vested interest or an interest in the truth of 9/11, when you've been approaching it from a different point of view and you're invested in that point of view, it's that much harder to get past that point of view, to accept your own humility and say, you know something, I was wrong. 9/11 was a lie, 9/11 is important, and we're going to start taking it on now. And we can only hope that we can break through to people that way.
Post what you wrote anywhere?
Sure, if you want. I'll post it. I'll find a place to post it.
Okay. Do you have a website, sir? Or?
I don't yet. I'm working on it.
Or where do we go to get the post?
Go to Huffington Post, Google Ian Alterman, Huffington Post, and there's some of those great quotes about truth from the world's religions are on Huffington Post.
Also, very, very quickly, I did write a primer on 9/11 that is published on Sanders' political blog, not his personal blog, which is called Guerrilla Underground. And it is really, I mean, it's preaching to the choir in this room, but it's a good place to send people who are, let's say, on the fence or at least open-minded, which will give them a very, very long primer on the various aspects of 9/11 truth. That at least is publishable. And maybe Sandra would be willing to publish my notes. We'll talk about it.
Sure. Yes. Good. The answer is yes, Ian. Okay, great. Thank you. And I'm going to move right along now to my friend Barry Kissin. Barry is an attorney, a progressive. Has worked a lot down in his hometown of Frederick, Maryland. Lifelong resident of Frederick.
Lifelong? No.
No? Oh, geez.
I was born in Brooklyn.
Extrapolating. Oh, okay, good. God love you. Extrapolating. I thought you said you were. All right. But you've been in Frederick a long time, though.
True.
Yeah, good. And what else is in Frederick? Fort Detrick, Maryland, home of your government's biowarfare programs. And Barry will talk about that, but I think Barry also wants to make it democratic and make it more user interactive today and try to feed off the crowd, so we'll see where this goes. Put your hands together for Barry Kissin.
Did I just get licensed to conduct a conversation?
Yes.
Because that is really what I would prefer. I've been doing some talk show radio in my local town, which is a conservative town. We're talking about Frederick, Maryland. It sends, by some accounts, one of the most right-wing congresspeople in Congress. He's been there for 7 terms. His name is Roscoe Bartlett. I mean, he's capable of doing things out of character, but he's very, very right-wing, and he's known to be right-wing, and that's who we send. In fact, by the way, for the state of Maryland, he is the only Republican representative at this point. So, but they kind of gerrymandered a little bit, and we've got all the conservatives, and Frederick's in kind of the middle of it, and I'm glad to be there. You know, at one point, I had the option of growing up and living out my adulthood in Boston. I lived there for a while. And there's nothing against Boston, and there's plenty of aspects, of course, that I don't know about. But my idea of leaving Boston was that I didn't want to be in too rarefied a place. I didn't want to be in a sort of an ivory tower place. I wanted to get down there and sort of, you know, feel like, you know, what was going on. Well, call it Middle America if you'd like. Now, Middle America, I mean, what is Middle America these days? I mean, to talk about Frederick, well, for one thing, you're talking about something that's quite unique. I mean, it is unique, is it not? That it's dominated by this place called Fort Detrick that is the headquarters for American biowarfare since the inception of American biowarfare. That's 1943. The anthrax attacks that I'm supposed to be speaking about today are the pretext for a massive expansion of what they continue to call biodefense. It's obvious that it's not biodefense. I mean, are there biodefense elements of it? Yes, there's biodefense elements of it. Is it people by scientists and other technicians and so forth who believe that they're part of a biodefense mission? Yes. Do they determine the mission? No. Are they a lot of times behaving in a sort of compartment and they don't know what it's a part of? Yes. Has it in fact been revealed what this is? Yes. What we're dealing with here, they'll get right up on the stage and tell you. We are going to invent germs so as to be in the position to anticipate their defenses. Okay? What they leave out telling you, among other things, is that we're way the hell in front of everybody. We're cutting edge, and all we're doing is inviting everybody to try and catch up. Okay? Did you get that? Yeah. This is, with the anthrax attacks as the pretext, this is the instigation of a brand new bioweapons arms race. We explicitly rejected the Arms Control Treaty. Explicitly, not implicitly. What do I mean? One of the first things the Bush administration did was walked into Geneva after 10 years of dilly-dallying with the Clinton administration on the critical matter of inspections and verification. The heart and soul of any arms control agreement, everybody knows it. And just about all the signatories, I mean all of them, 164 signatories to the Bioweapons Convention, were trying to accomplish inspections and verification. I mean, how do you slow the damn thing down otherwise? And the Bush administration walked into Geneva and said, we're not even interested in negotiating this anymore. You know, a New York Times article came out on September 4, 2001. It's an important article, easy to Google. William Broad, science editor, wrote it. What it deserves to be most known for, and let me parenthetically say, it is specifically referred to by Senator Patrick Leahy at the beginning of the Amerithrax oversight hearings. Patrick Leahy is a victim of the anthrax letters, right? And he's the head of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and they're doing Amerithrax oversight, and they're questioning Mueller, and Leahy makes a specific reference to this article I just referred to, September 4, 2001, William Broad, New York Times. Now, Leahy doesn't do anything else with that. Leahy won't do anything else with that. Leahy is, among other things, intimidated. He's also running for election. When I say intimidated, I'm talking about frightened. Okay? I mean, this is not to say that the letter addressed to Leahy has a good chance of killing Leahy, but he knows that was not a random act. He knows that, and I guess, and this is something we should ponder, and I guess he feels like his only choice is to somewhere or other dance with this. You know, one of the themes I hope to capture before Sandra cuts me off, and I kind of want to pick up on Zaremka's statement, and unfortunately I want to turn it on its head. Zaremka says there's no absolute truth. Not interested. Not interested in absolute truth, not interested in that. What needs to bring 9/11 truth together is what we know to be true, because that's the most important part. Okay, forgive me for using this as an example, we don't need to dissect exactly how these buildings came down, although I look forward to Richard's talk on all the details. We don't need to dissect that. I mean, we can, and it's amusing, but we do have some, I won't use the word absolute truths, to deal with. We have some absolute truths to deal with, and what, of course, we're not even broaching, unless we determine ourselves to, is what we're going to do about it, okay? I mean, the introductory talk was wonderful. I mean, it's reminding us that the case is closed on what the hell happened to the Pentagon, to the extent that we're dealing with fraud, right? In other words, it's not just that we don't know what happened, it's that the cover-up tells us what did happen. I mean, who did the cover-up? And clearly, why would have they done the cover-up, and what are they covering up? What must they be covering up? Okay, we're there, okay? What does it mean? It means, I've already alluded to one aspect of it. Listen to me. For profit and empire and power, we are instigating in the world, as I speak, a brand new bioweapons arms race. Frigging Nixon and Kissinger knew better. You can't control this. The technology, listen, you know, we've tried to learn the lesson of how, you know, our humanity quotient isn't keeping up with our technology quotient, and we look although not very squarely, at nuclear weapons technology. We don't look at it very squarely. I was just in Hiroshima. Check it out. They dropped this thing pretty close to the center, about 2,000 feet up. It's only 11 kilotons in a 2-mile radius. Nothing! And they're the lucky ones. We don't have any weapons that are smaller than 30, 40 times that. 30 or 40 times that? That's what we're counterposing? That's what we're still sort of dilly-dallying with? That's what we're about to invade Iran over when we know Israel has 200 of them, and we just threatened anyone who's not a party to NPT? We're not forswearing the initial use of nuclear weapons. And we wonder why these beleaguered countries in our shadow, are desperate like North Korea and Iran to sort of come up with some deterrence. I'm describing a system, folks, and 9/11 truth is one aspect of it. What's good, there's a couple of things that are absolutely critical about it. For one thing, it sticks your face in what I suppose we might characterize as an ultimate evil. Forgive me. Deliberately killing, and it wasn't deliberately killing, by the way. It was kind of somewhat inadvertently killing. 3,000 Americans.
Deliberate.
I'll just throw this out. I'm sure all the experts can jump all over me. And